They told him he would never stand again, that his life from now on would always be lived from a wheelchair. But on the most important day of his life, Kevin decided to prove everyone wrong. In front of hundreds of people, he gave his bride the most powerful gift of all, the sight of the man she loved standing tall at the altar. This story is not just about overcoming a disability. It is about the strength of love, the courage to fight against the odds, and the way two hearts can change each other's destiny. If you believe in miracles and the power of true love, stay with me until the end of this story, because what you're about to hear will move you deeply. And before we begin, if you enjoy stories of courage, resilience, and the triumph of the human spirit, make sure you subscribe, give this video a like, and share it so more people can be inspired by love's extraordinary power. Love has often been described as the most powerful force in the world, capable of giving us courage, hope, and strength to overcome even the hardest trials life puts in our path. For some, that's just a phrase. But for Kevin and Kim, it's a reality that has defined their lives. Their journey is proof that love can turn pain into purpose, despair into hope, and ordinary days into unforgettable miracles. Their story is one of resilience, sacrifice, and a devotion so pure that it can inspire anyone who listens. Kevin's life was not easy. More than a decade ago, he suffered an accident that broke his leg. Normally, this might have been just another injury, something from which a person could recover after weeks or months. But for Kevin, the accident changed his life forever. Doctors soon diagnosed him with a rare nervous disorder known as Reflex Sympathetic Dystrophy, or RSD. It is a cruel disease, one that creates constant, unbearable pain and progressively damages the affected limb. Despite endless treatments, the doctors eventually had to face reality. Kevin's leg could not be saved. The only option left was amputation. Losing his leg was devastating, and from that moment on, Kevin's life would be lived from a wheelchair. For many people, such a reality might have meant the end of dreams, the end of possibilities, and perhaps even the end of hope. But Kevin was different. Despite being forced to live with constant pain, despite frequent visits to the hospital, sometimes every couple of months, he refused to let bitterness take over. He carried a smile everywhere he went. His optimism became his shield, his positivity, his weapon against despair. And yet, even with all this inner strength, one thing was missing. He longed for a love that could see past his wheelchair, past his scars, past the challenges, and love him for who he truly was. That missing piece arrived the day he met Kim. Sometimes fate has a way of orchestrating encounters that change everything. From the first moment they met, Kevin knew she was different. There was an instant spark, a connection that felt like two souls recognizing each other. For Kevin, it was love at first sight. But what touched him most was Kim's reaction to his condition. She didn't see the wheelchair. She didn't see what was missing. What she saw was Kevin's heart, his kindness, his resilience, his light. For me, she once explained, what matters is the soul of a person, not their physical body. A missing part doesn't define who someone is. Those words changed everything for Kevin. After years of silently carrying the fear that no one could ever truly love him, here was a woman who not only accepted him as he was, but cherished him for it. For the first time in years, Kevin felt completely seen and valued. What others saw as an obstacle, Kim never even acknowledged. For her, Kevin was whole. Their relationship blossomed with ease. They laughed together, shared dreams, and built the kind of bond that only grows stronger with time. In a world that sometimes judged him for his limitations, Kim gave him freedom, acceptance, and love without conditions. It wasn't long before Kevin knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. After several months of romance, they decided to get married. Their wedding became a project of joy, planned down to the smallest detail. They chose flowers, music, decorations, and dreamed about the day that would unite their souls forever. For Kim, the happiness was in the planning, but for Kevin, there was also a secret mission. Behind her back, he was preparing something extraordinary, something that would transform their wedding day into a moment the world would never forget. Kevin had decided that on the day of their wedding, he would stand for her. For months, he worked tirelessly with a physiotherapist, practiced with a prosthetic limb, enduring grueling training sessions filled with sweat, pain, and at times frustration. It was one of the hardest challenges of his life, but his determination was unstoppable. He had only one vision in his mind: the look on Kim's face when she would see him rise from his wheelchair. This was not just about standing it was about proving that her love had given him strength greater than any illness or limitation. Finally, the big day arrived. The church was filled with friends, family, and the warm glow of anticipation. Guests admired the beauty of the ceremony, the flowers, the music, and the atmosphere of love. At the altar, Kevin waited in his wheelchair, his heart pounding, his secret hidden. When the music began and Kim walked down the aisle, everyone turned their eyes to her. She looked radiant, her face glowing with joy, her steps filled with grace. Kevin's eyes never left hers. In that moment, nothing else existed but the love they shared. Then came the moment. The priest asked everyone to stand. For years, Kevin had been told he would never stand again. That day, fueled by months of preparation and the power of love, he rose from his chair. Slowly but firmly, he stood tall. The room fell into silence. Kim froze, unable to believe what she was seeing. Her eyes filled instantly with tears, her lips trembling as emotion overflowed. The guests gasped, some covering their mouths, others crying openly. And then, Kim's tears became unstoppable, sliding down her cheeks as she realized the magnitude of Kevin's gesture. She rushed into his arms, and they embraced with a force that seemed to seal their love forever. Laughter and tears mixed as they held each other, and the room erupted into applause. In that moment, every ounce of pain, every sacrifice, every hour of hidden training was worth it. Kevin had given his bride the greatest gift of all, proof that love had given him the strength to rise, literally, for her. Their wedding became more than just a ceremony, became a symbol of everything they stood for: perseverance, loyalty, and the triumph of love over adversity. Married life wasn't without its challenges. Kevin's conditions still required ongoing care, and there were difficult days ahead. But Kim's presence transformed every challenge into something they could overcome together. Her love gave him strength, and his devotion to her gave her confidence that they could endure anything. Together they proved that true love is not about perfection, but about standing side by side, no matter what life throws at you. What makes this story unforgettable is not only Kevin's determination, but also Kim's unwavering faith. She never once doubted his worth. She never saw his wheelchair as a burden. To her, he was whole, capable, and perfect. And Kevin, in return, demonstrated that love is more than words. It is action, sacrifice, and the willingness to fight for happiness. Their story touches hearts because it resonates with everyone who has ever felt limited by life, who has ever wondered if true love exists, or who has ever feared that their flaws made them unworthy of being loved. Kevin and Kim's story answers those fears with a resounding truth. Love does exist, and when it is real, it has the power to transform lives. Years later, people still talk about that wedding day. They remember the moment when a man who was told he would never walk again stood up to declare his love. They remember the tears in Kim's eyes and the power of that embrace. It serves as a reminder to all of us that love is not about grand perfection, but about choosing each other every single day, regardless of obstacles. Love is about lifting one another, seeing the soul before the body, and giving strength when the other feels weak. So when you think about what love really means, remember Kevin and Kim? Remember that sometimes love asks us to stand up even when the world says we can't. Kevin's surprise at the altar was more than a romantic gesture. It was a declaration to the world that love conquers all. And for everyone who hears their story, it serves as a timeless reminder that with love, we can overcome anything. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who need hope, because sometimes one story can change the way someone sees their own life. And if you want to hear more powerful stories of resilience, courage, and love, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring journey. Remember, love is not just a feeling. It is a force, a motivation, and sometimes even a miracle. And when it's true, it can give us the strength to rise, even when life tells us we can't.